for the July 16th meeting. Can we have roll call, please?
Here. Here.
Nathaniel Melton.
Here.
Robert Moore. Karen Sorensen.
Present.
Kevin King.
Here.
Paul Johnson.
Here.
Next item on the agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item D is approval of the agenda. The agenda has been prepared and disseminated in accordance with Board Policy 0166. I need a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll make a motion, we approve the agenda as it is written.
Second.
Right, the motions have been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. The next item on the agenda is the consent agenda. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I'll make that motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second.
Motion has been made and seconded to approve the consent agenda. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 3, informational session, student, staff, and community recognitions. There are nothing on that part of the agenda. Next item on the agenda is administrative reports. I see nothing on the agenda for that also. And the last item on there is the board reports. So the Personnel Committee did not meet this month. The Budget and Buildings and Grounds minutes are not available at this point. They will be available and approved next month. The Policy Committee minutes, Paul?
The Policy Committee met on July 9th, last Monday, at 6:30 p.m. On our agenda was one item, that was the approval of the student handbooks, and that was the only item. As we address that, I'd like to thank our 3 new administrators for working with the committee. We were given rough drafts, and all 3 committee members, Deb Olson, Karen, and I worked on the rough drafts, editing, made corrections and recommendations, and presented them to Dr. Aslan, who did go to each of the new principals, administrators for each building. I commend them for the work you did over the 4th of July weekend, getting this put together and making corrections and presenting us the revised version, which we were able to approve, and I say thank you very much. You walked into this not knowing what was in these documents, and 3 days into your contract had to go through multiple pages and make corrections, so thank you very much. That's what we did at our committee meeting.
And what was the length of that committee meeting? That was a short one?
That was a record 8-minute meeting.
Okay, very good. All right. Nice job on that one, Paul.
Yes.
Thank you. And then the School and Community Relations minutes. Kevin?
School Community Relations met tonight at 5:01. The first item on the agenda was to discuss the hashtag Spooner Proud, and the consensus was to stay with it, and we're going to push it out a little more aggressive to the community. Next item on the agenda was a discussion on a website revamp, and we're looking at making our website a little easier to navigate, a little larger. We'll be seeking some information, and we will be having more discussion on it in October. And we had a discussion on digital signage, and these would be like small, almost like a TV set that would be in a few area businesses that would partner with our district, and we would be pushing out on that information on our events going on in school, teacher recognitions, and the possibility of having a student doing the updates on that on a daily basis. Then we had our discussion on 30, 60, 90-day planning. We have the Relay for Life this Friday. We have roughly 50 people. signed up for that. Our open house for our school district will be August 29th. We discussed having a veterans recognition at our homecoming with some events to happen during that. I'm pretty excited about a couple of them, and I think they'll work out. Parent-teacher conferences will be September 27th, and we're looking to possibly see if they need some help from our district there for the Jack-o'-lantern fest. And then in the past years, I believe we've helped out with the zombie run and a few other things. Next item on our agenda was a discussion on filling vacant community member positions on this committee as a possible addition of staff or student member. It was decided that we will wait until the committee of the whole in October, and policy will probably need to be developed for involving students. We currently do not have that yet. Due to the committee of the whole, things may change on how that's gonna play out there. And then next thing on the agenda was a discussion on the environmental footprint in our district. This came from some of our summer school kids that had read the Lorax and had contacted a bunch of the board members, mostly requesting how we can cut down our use of plastics and do some more recycling. So the elementary school kids will be participating in doing this. We will try to be doing some more recycling and some more options coming as we discuss this in the future. And then last thing on our agenda was legislative updates. There was general aid estimates that came out for Wisconsin. Spooner will go from $475,971 down to $444,447. This is a 6.5% cut. We are projected to receive $339 per student in general aid. This is not final. This will be confirmed in October. Department of Justice, Attorney General Brad Schimmel named Beloit Police Lieutenant Kristen DeVitt to be the director of the Office of School Safety. And on the school safety note, Spooner had received a safety grant of $84,379. So pretty excited about that. And our meeting adjourned at 6:09 tonight.
All right, thank you. Thank you for all of those reports. The next item on the agenda is the community comments. Aaron, could you get that sheet? All right, there are no community comments tonight. The next item on the agenda is personnel recommendations. We are now into the discussion and action items.
You have a number of personnel recommendations before you this evening. First, let's look at the resignations. We have Ben Dietz, district technician, 3 years of service. Molly Schaefer, occupational therapist, 7 years of service. Darla Kruschke, early childhood special education teacher, was early in her service here. And Andrew Walt, high school boys assistant soccer coach, 1 year of service to the district.
Can I have a motion to accept the resignations?
I'll make a motion to accept the resignations.
I'll second.
Kevin has made the motion and Deb has seconded to accept these resignations. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. At this time, I'd like to give a round of applause for the people that have given their years of service. Ben, where's the pizza?
Yeah, that's right.
I
didn't have time.
All right. Only kidding. All right, there really was no requirement to bring pizza.
We have a couple hiring recommendations before you this evening. Dana Lucius, district reading specialist, replacing Teresa Stanley, and she is being recommended by Mrs. Cobdy and Nick Merkt. high school social studies and reading interventionist, replacing Holly Botka and Heather Isaacson, being recommended by Mr. Schurz. And in your board level access, you have some memorandums with some background on those individuals.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve these hirings?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Paul has made the motion and Aaron has seconded. Is there any discussion? Of course, I heard none. No, I'm going to give you time for any discussion. Hearing none, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. The next item on the agenda is acceptance of donations.
You have 3 donations before you this evening. Schmitz's Economart and an anonymous donor donated to the elementary track and field day 400 bottles of water with an approximate value of $51. The youth volleyball, you received a donation from the youth volleyball program, donation to the high school volleyball for Wednesday night league program, $175, and donation from Scott and Jenny Corbin, donation to Spooner Track and Field and Cross Country, donated $1,000 towards a track tent.
I need a motion to accept these donations.
I make a motion that we accept these donations as stated.
I'll second.
Nathaniel has made the motion and Kevin has seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries, and thank you for those donations.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
The next item on the agenda is a fundraiser request.
You have a fundraiser request coming from Coach Fiesel for the Spooner Rails football squad. It's for the Rails Card fundraiser for 2018, and they are looking to run the Rails Card fundraisers they have in previous years.
Is there a motion to approve the Rails Card fundraiser?
I make that motion that we approve that fundraiser.
I'll second.
All right, Nathaniel has made the motion and Paul the second. Is there any discussion? There certainly is. That Rails Card is a wonderful thing to have. And when a football player comes around and asks you, I know we haven't approved this yet, but I do assume that we will. When a football player comes around and asks you to buy one of those cards, I certainly hope you'll take that $10 out of your pocket and then support the local businesses that support that Rails Card. So, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Everybody said aye. Very good, thank you. And I'll be seeing the Milton boys, I know that. The next item on the agenda, item D, facility use requests, there are none. Is that correct?
Correct.
All right, very good. Next item on the agenda is item E, which is to consider the WIAA membership renewal.
So this is your annual WIA renewal. You can see in the document that's on board docs, the sports and the co-ops that we're involved in. You can also see that the WIA has continued with the practice from the past handful of years of waiving the annual fees.
Okay. I trust that everybody had a chance to see that. So let's have a motion. May I have a motion to consider the WIAA membership renewal?
I make the motion.
I'll second.
Paul has made the motion and Aaron has seconded it. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Next item on the agenda is item F, consider authorizing Strive partnership.
So through the School Community Relations Committee for about the past 6 or 8 months, there's been discussion about creating additional opportunities for people that come from our community, are interested in being mentors, serving as mentors in the school district, but may not meet the requirements to be part of the Kids Hope USA mentoring program. We had the opportunity to learn about the STRIVE program, and as most things in education are, STRIVE is an acronym for Students Taking Renewed Interest in the Value of Education. And it's a program that has been taking place in the Webster School District in partnership with a civic organization there, and very successful program. It pairs community volunteers as mentors with high school students that certainly benefit from that mentorship relationship and those positive connections with adults that we know are so important to the educational process. So lots of discussion at the committee level, some planning taking place about a partnership here in Spooner, and looking to take the steps forward to develop that program and put it into place here in the Spooner Area School District. So that comes to the full board tonight for consideration of forming that STRIVE program.
I'll entertain a motion to consider authorizing the STRIVE partnership.
I'll make that motion.
So you made the motion? I don't think I made the motion. I would entertain the motion. So Deb has made the motion and Kevin has seconded it. And now I'm opening it for discussion.
I would say that in the Webster School District, this is being done right now through the Rotary Club, but this program can function through any civic organization, and that. So I would think it would be a big benefit for our students at the high school level to have this program. And it's an opportunity, if you're not part of the Kids Hope program at the younger levels, you could still have an opportunity to volunteer to help students in our district.
And who's going to be taking the lead on this? Do you know? Kevin, do you know who that?
I believe Dr. Aslan was going to be reaching out to a couple organizations for partnering.
All right, great. Thank you, Dr. Esslin.
You're welcome.
Very good. And Kevin, will this also have a background check with it, with the people that are going to be the mentors?
I believe that it does have a background check also.
Okay, very good. When I was reading through there, I wasn't sure that it was on there, but there are a lot of guidelines on there already. I like that idea. And then would it be something like we do with Kids Hope, in that it will be evaluated after a certain amount of time?
I would think we could certainly request that.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Any other questions or discussion?
I'm going to say the same concern I have with this as I had with the other one is I think it would be a great after-school program. I'm concerned that we're putting an emphasis on this mentorship program being more important than the education that we're already providing our students. We're taking students out of their classroom work, and I'm concerned that's sending a message to our staff that it's more important for us to deal with this student over here rather than your curriculum or lesson plan that you had set for that day. Just like the other program, I'm saying it would be a wonderful after-school program. I'm a little concerned we're sending the wrong message by taking students out of class to do this. Then the other question is going to be, how many more other organizations are going to come along and say, I've got a really good plan for your students, whether it be the Boys and Girls Club, whether it be something that they want to start up. I think we're going down a path that I'm not against helping our students. I'm not against working with our community. I'm concerned that we're sending a message that if you want to have access to our school, to our students, if you feel you have something to offer, we're more than willing to open our doors and let you take a shot at this, when in reality it should be an after-school program. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, I'm wondering, do you have a question, Deb?
Well, I think when we discussed this at the Community Relations Committee meeting, we talked about doing it during their Rails time, which would not actually be taken away from their academic class, and that they would schedule it and it would be only once or twice a month meeting with this mentor. So, and it's not, some of it would be non-educational, but some of it also would be educational depending on what the student needed. So that takes that avenue away of taking them out of class
Will
So-
this also extend to mentoring outside of the school building? So such as a weekend, such as a meeting or taking students shopping?
No, I don't
or
believe so. We
something?
didn't talk about that at all. That's not what this entails.
The program, the way it is set up in Webster, Siren, there, is geared towards students that are at risk of graduating. I think that's important, and it has had an impact, and that is the target group that this mentoring program is set up for.
I just want to echo that the priority effort would be students that are in upper class students, so the juniors and seniors in danger of not graduating. Mrs. Myers, the counselor, was part of has been part of the discussion and was part of the team that visited and observed the program, and she'd indicated that in all likelihood, we would have more students than we would have mentors available. So it would be a process to really make sure that we connect the right mentors with the right students. And again, as Mrs. Olson has mentioned, it takes place in the Rails time, so not taking away from class time.
Thank you.
Very good. Any other discussion or questions?
Well, I would just like to say that I don't think that we're setting a precedent that we're opening the door to anybody who would like to come and help students, but we are saying that with limited funding and changes in family structure and just our culture in general, any help that we can get for kids in education and that works into our schedule, and we vet and make sure that these people are properly trained and at a place where they're able to help kids to the best of our ability. I think that anything that we can do to help more kids is advantageous to us and doesn't necessarily make us look like we're flippantly helping kids and anybody can come in. But if we do it the right way, which I believe we have through Kids Hope, and this is set up very well to have those checks and balances so that we can help kids when they are in need of help, even more than we're able to offer with the resources that we have. And just the more that we have available, the better, I feel like, for kids.
Another tool in our toolbox.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. So hearing no more discussion, I would ask for a vote. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. The next item on the agenda is to consider the second reading of Board Policy 5530.
No change from last month.
And the policy has remained the same. There have been no changes. It's a drug prevention policy. Is there a motion to approve the second reading?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All right, motion is made and seconded. I don't think there's any more discussion. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Next item on the agenda is to consider the first reading of the student handbooks. Is there a motion to consider the first reading?
I'll make that motion.
I will second that. Is there some discussion? David?
If I may, as you're considering this when you vote, if it's a vote in the affirmative, I'd ask that you consider waiving a second reading on this.
Is that because of the timeline that we have?
That's correct.
All right, and Paul, are you happy with what are in those handbooks?
Yes.
And I am too, Deb, are you happy with it?
I just have one question. I did go over some of the revisions just to make sure that they were made, and I did contact Caitlin. Were those added to the revisions?
They were.
Okay, then yes, I'm
So
okay with that.
You were good. So
Yep.
can we take that motion back and change that to and ask that we waive the second reading and that we approve this, a final approval?
Yes.
So I will take back that second, and you will take back that motion?
I will take back that motion.
Would you like another motion?
Yes, I would.
Okay, go ahead.
I would like to make a motion that we approve the student handbook without the second reading, with the revisions that Deb has submitted to Caitlin. I assume that there are no substance change?
No, there was no substance change, just a few things that were forgotten.
Thank you.
I will second that motion to consider this reading and to waive the second reading. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Next item on the agenda is to consider the mountain bike curriculum.
This is the mountain bike curriculum that was presented at the last curriculum meeting last month. And what it is our middle school has acquired some funding for mountain bikes, and they're going to be doing mountain biking in the middle school FIED curriculum. So this is going to be, the goal is to have up to 30 bikes available for our students. We currently have funding for approximately 10. We'd like to go out into the community to get the balance of funding. Each bicycle is got a cost associated with it, so there's going to be some people that have stepped forward that are kind of sitting in the shadows right now, willing to go along if we approve this. It's been recommended by all of our FIED instructors in the middle school and the high school level who are saying this is a really good thing to go along with, and as long as we can keep it going, this will be good for our students. So if we don't have the full slot of 30 that is requested, they would take it up to, it takes about 15 to work it into our curriculum. We could have half the students going out while the other half is doing something different, then they could swap different days. It's a way to get the students out doing something they enjoy, which is bicycling already, but learning some more skills. So our goal is to approve this and allow the staff to go out and continue getting donations and to implement this as early as this fall.
Okay, well, thank you for that report, Paul. Is there a motion to consider the mountain bike curriculum?
I'll make a motion to consider the curriculum.
Second.
There's a motion by Kevin and a second by Nathaniel. Is there any further discussion?
I would like to note one thing too that came up in that meeting is the possibility in the future, not immediately, but in the future of having a competitive mountain biking team. Hayward currently has one, and Rice Lake currently has one. We have the trails right behind the school here to ride on, and there are some trails over on Wildcat and a few other places close by our district for mountain biking. They mentioned also about the possibility of having like a field trip day to one of those trails.
And even City Park has a lot of really good trails that they would start on. And I think the more lifelong fitness skills that we can teach in our classes, especially younger ages, the better for our students and just maintaining a healthy lifestyle for the remainder of their time. So this is really good, I think.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Letter J is to consider 2 8th grade requests to take math courses at the Spooner High School for the 2018-19 school year.
I will go ahead with that. We have 2 students who are going into the 8th grade who have taken all of the math courses that are available at our middle school level. There's 2 separate requests to be going to the high school as 8th grade students, and they will be taking high school level courses as 8th graders. This was discussed at the curriculum committee, and it is our recommendation that the board approve this. The district will be responsible for the transportation of the students back and forth from the middle school to the high school.
Okay, is there a motion to consider this request?
I'd like to make that motion.
I'll second it.
Paul has made the motion, and I believe Deb has seconded that motion. Is there any discussion? I'm looking at one of the requests, and I see that this will be signed by both the student and Ms. Cobdy and the parent and guardian. So there's an agreement. They and parents will all understand that, and the student will understand all the rules that go with that. And it appears to be very well thought out. Thank you. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. The next item on the agenda is to consider K-12 English Language Arts curriculum.
I'll jump on that one again. What we have is the curriculum has been established. This is not, so you know, this is not dealing with coursework. What this curriculum is establishing is the outcomes and benchmarks for individuals at the different levels within our school district beginning at the kindergarten level through graduation. It demonstrates the outcome of what a student should demonstrate at what level, at what grade, and it also measures the outcomes of where the student should be. So we have something that can be actually judged. We can actually see the outcome of the student to know that we are achieving the benchmarks of what is being required of our students, no matter who their instructor is. And that's really where we're at. This was done, I believe, through the English Language Arts program through the entire district. Is that correct, Dr. Astley?
That's correct.
Thank you. So all of our staff is on board with this and is aware of what this is all about. It's a wonderful document that we can actually see what is expected of a fifth grader, and we can see whether or not they're achieving it, and it'll see what our benchmarks at, where we need to go back and possibly refocus how we're teaching our students, how we're educating.
Okay, I'm wondering if we might change the motion that was just made, because it really isn't considering the language arts curriculum, but it's considering the outcomes and the benchmarks of the K through 12 English language arts standards alignment. I'm just wondering, it's a fine line, I know, but if you're not watching this video online or watch it later, it would appear that we're approving something different. I just don't know if I'm being a little picky there or not, but
I don't believe that we're changing anything. We're not changing any coursework.
No, we're not at all. No, I'm just...
We're changing expectations.
Okay.
Or we're documenting the expectations that have always been there.
So this is just a part of the English language arts curriculum, is that what I would say?
Okay, if I jump in
You
here.
may jump in, sir.
Yep, so the outcomes and benchmarks answer the question, what do we expect students to know and do
Correct.
in English language arts at the different grade levels? It doesn't prescribe a sequence of courses or anything of that nature. It's important that we are, but it is the curriculum.
It is the curriculum.
And the coursework and the materials and things of that nature are all done and all applied in an effort to help our students meet the benchmarks that are listed in the curriculum.
Okay. If we're good with that, then I guess I will take back that suggestion. I've not made that motion. I was just wondering because, and again, just reading this, it appears that we're considering a curriculum and this is part of it, so I can understand that. All right, thank you. Anybody else? Hearing no other discussion, let's, all those in favor indicate by saying aye. Oh, I see. I didn't make a motion or a second? Oh, well, we jumped right into that then. I thought there had been. So thank you for correcting that. At least I made one mistake tonight. So can I have a motion to consider this K through 12 English language arts curriculum?
I'll make that motion.
Yeah, Paul made the motion.
I'll second.
And Deb would second it. Okay, so we did a little discussion out of order. I apologize to you at home and to you here. So now that we've done that, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries unanimously. The next item on the agenda will be done with a roll call vote eventually, once we get there, so don't start yet. But it is to consider the purchase of English language arts curriculum.
So along with the approval of the benchmarks, we have identified some curriculum needs to purchase, and we're looking at approximately $32,000 worth of curriculum that needs to be purchased for the 18-19 school year, and those are budgeted dollars. This is something that we had already anticipated, but because of the dollar amount, we are seeking board approval.
And how much was that amount again?
I don't have the exact amount, but it's about $33,000.
Okay, thank you. Right, is there a motion? Oh, did we have that motion already? Did we get a motion yet? All right, so let's have a motion to consider purchase of the English language arts curriculum.
I'll make that motion.
I will second.
Erin has made the motion and Deb has seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those indicate by saying aye. Oh, I'm sorry, roll call vote. See, there you go, jumping right in there again. Thank you.
Can I add to the discussion before we take that? I just want to say that we at the curriculum committee level were given a presentation describing why the rationale behind the resources that we're purchasing. And so it was very well thought out, well presented. It makes perfect sense in terms of filling the gaps for things that were identified as missing or needing more reinforcement based on the ELA curriculum write-up and what the committee had, the work that they had done over the last year. So,
All right, thank you. And now the vote.
yes.
Deb Olson,
Yes.
Nathaniel Melton,
Yes.
Robert Foley, Karen Sorensen.
Yes.
Kevin King.
Yes.
Paul Johnson.
Yes.
Motion carries unanimously. Next item on the agenda is letter M, to consider second reading of reimbursement of committee membership.
No changes to the first reading that was done.
Okay. It's kind of a motion to consider the second reading of the reimbursement of committee membership.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Paul has made the motion, and Aaron, I believe, has seconded. Is there any discussion? I believe we've already discussed this quite thoroughly at our committee meetings. So all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. And thank you to all the people that take part in those committees to make some really good recommendations to the board. The next item will be a roll call vote perhaps. So you might have to jump in and help me out, Caitlin, but to consider open enrollment seats for the 4K program. And Mr. Ham, would you come up, please, and present something for us?
Actually, what happened is we kind of had an oversight when we brought the recommendations to you earlier in the school year. We didn't bring anything for 4K, so we're looking and asking you to approve some seats for 4K. There's currently openings in the 4K program. You'll notice again that I have a 3.6 for special ed seats. I know 3.6 isn't possible, but that's based on that caseload matrix again, because depending on a student's needs, they count more than one student dependent upon those needs and their grade levels. So we're looking for our recommendation is to approve 6 seats for 4K regular education and 3.6 seats for special education.
And can you explain those seats? I mean, that doesn't mean 6 students, correct?
With the regular education students, it would be 6 students.
Okay.
And there currently is openings in the 4K program. And with the special education, again, that's that caseload matrix number where you take the needs of the student, age level of the student, and it gives you a factor. Generally, it can be anywhere from 1.3 to 3.3, depending on the student's needs. So that way it protects us so that we're not bringing in more kids than we can handle. But we also are keeping it open to all students too. So we're not saying you have to have a certain level of need to come in.
Okay, thank you.
Do you currently have students to fill these seats, or no? You're just.
I know we do have one family that would like to have a student come in a special education program. I'm not sure about the others right now, but I know that there's one out there. We'd definitely like to.
You want some information? Sure.
Yeah, so this comes back to you because if you recall, it was January when we acted on open enrollment seats available for the coming year. And at that point, the 4K program had not been approved. So this is just a one-time course correction, as that program will have been established and we'll be able to project as part of our regular open enrollment recommendations for January 2019 then.
Okay. Is there a motion to consider the open enrollment seats for the 4K program?
I make that motion.
I'll second.
Nathaniel has made the motion and Aaron had seconded. Is there any further discussion or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Let's, you know what, let's go with a roll call vote because this could be, it could end up being a budgetary issue, so let's just go with the roll call vote.
Aaron Birch,
Yes.
Deb Olson,
Yes.
Nathaniel Melton,
Yes.
Robert Foley, Karen Sorensen.
Yes,
Kevin King.
Yes.
Paul Johnson.
Yes.
unanimous, thank you. All right, the next item on the agenda is to consider the recommendation for paper copier lease renewal. Oh, Mr. Miller.
Okay, briefly here, we currently lease our print copy services through a company, E.O. Johnson. That was a 5-year contract that'll be expiring later this summer. So about the end of the school year, we put out an RFP for renewing those services. We had 2 vendors, E.O. Johnson, Loeffler, that provided us responses to that RFP for the renewal of those services. Our recommendation after reviewing the RFPs is to go with E.O. Johnson. They gave us 3 pricing options, a high-end, middle of the road that was kind of similar to the equipment we have, and a one with newer equipment that's cheaper. Our recommendation is to go with that option 3, which would be to basically use the same types of printers we have, but replace our copiers throughout the district with a different brand, a Toshiba versus a Ricoh copier. I know that Rice, in talking with them and other school districts, Rice Lake, Cumberland, and Chautauqua do the same program, and they have gone with the Toshiba option, and they are very pleased with it. So it's a considerable savings over the other 2 options over the period of 5 years. So our recommendation is to go with E.O. Johnson for renewal of a 5-year lease with them for our print and copier services based on that option 3 pricing, which is accurate for what I had provided in the memo.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve option 3 by O.E. Johnson?
E.O. Johnson.
E.O. Johnson in their RFP?
I make that motion.
I'll second.
Nathaniel has made the motion and Aaron has seconded. Is there any other discussion?
Will these savings possibly be able to be applied to staff budgets for printing? Because if there's one thing that I hear more often than not is that I have no money to print, and especially toward the end of the year. I don't know, that was maybe just a suggestion.
I'll put it this way, is that our budget that we have arrived at in terms of what we've been doing, what districts our size do, is kind of what it's based on. And anybody that has gone to their building administrator and talked with me when they explain what they're doing, we never said no if they have a good reason for what they're doing or need more for whatever it is that's going on in that. And there is actually factored in an increase because we've seen our color printing rise. We know we have curriculum that is being bought, will continue to be renewed over the years, so we factored into that. If we see dramatic turns one way or the other, we can open this or renew this lease to adjust things up or down, and that's what we have done. So I hope that answers the question.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other discussion or questions? Hearing none, all those in, oh, I'm sorry. Do we have a motion and a second? So we'll have a roll call vote, please.
Aaron Birch.
Yes.
Deb Olson.
Yes.
Nathaniel Milton.
Yes.
Robert Horn. Karen Sorensen.
Yes.
Kevin King.
Yes.
Paul Johnson.
Yes.
Motion carries unanimously. The next item on the agenda is to convene into closed session pursuant to Wisconsin statute number 19.85, parent 1, parent C, to consider the employment, promotion, compensation, or performance evaluation data of any public employee over which the governmental body has jurisdiction or exercises responsibility. We will discuss 2 things. Item A, administrator negotiations, and letter B, consider for credit reimbursement. Is there a motion?
I'll make the motion. Record time.
Wait a minute.
I'll second.
We're working on a record here, folks. So Paul has made the motion and Aaron has seconded it. Can I have a roll call vote, please?
Aaron Birch.
Yes.
Deb Olson.
Yes.
Nathaniel Milton.
Yes.
Robert Horn. Karen Sorensen.
Yes.
Kevin King.
Yes.
Paul Johnson.
Yes.
All right, we are convening into closed session. Thank you. We'll let you know when we come out of closed session. Not at this point.
Do you want specifics as to the course or just the idea of what it is? So it's in the administrative contracts that can we say that?
Yes.
Dr. Aslin?
Administrative contracts have a provision for some credit reimbursement. It has to be pre-approved by the school board if we're taking the course. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. I don't want to speak out of closed session.
Signatures needed?
Exactly.
Congratulations, 44 minutes. And all those agenda items in 44 minutes. How did we do that?
Thick, yeah.
Hey, don't
I know. What is
slow down.
All right. I'm going to look and make Kevin look at mine because I'm not coming back to see you. All right, we'll do. Sounds good, perfect, thank you. All right, thank you.
I'm sure we'll run into each other later.
Good job.
Pretty confident.
Okay, we have to sign something.
All business.
All right. No pleasure.
Good.
Here, Kevin, you have to sign some dates in there, we'll do that at the end. And then we'll get going.
Couldn't find him the last night, just about killed him, but it was miscommunication, so, but it worked out good.